Hello again. Here I am with my most recent book that I want to read to you by Oliver Jeffers. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. All his books are fun, and this one's about a boy who gets stranded in a very special place. So, without further ado, let's have a look at the story. The Way Back Home by Oliver Jeffers. Once there was a boy I've clicked twice. Once there was a boy One day, as he was putting his things back in the cupboard, he found an aeroplane. And here's some pictures of him getting ready to get into the aeroplane and fly it. So he's putting his coat on, his scarf, his special crash hat, his goggles, scarf, gloves, and he's almost ready. He didn't remember leaving the aeroplane in the cupboard, but he thought he'd take it out for a go right away. The plane lifted off the ground and up into the sky, higher and higher and higher. Suddenly, the plane spluttered. It had run out of petrol. Now the boy was stuck on the moon. What was he to do? He was all alone and afraid, and soon his torch began to go out. Up in space, someone else was in trouble too. His engine had broken down. And steering the ship towards a flicker of light, he landed on the moon with a bump. Oh dear, looks like he's crashed. Both the boy and the Martian could hear noises in the dark, and both feared the worst. But as their eyes got used to the dark, they both realized that they met someone else in trouble. They weren't alone anymore. The boy showed the Martian his empty petrol tank, and the Martian showed the boy his broken engine. And then they started chatting about what had happened to them. And they looked at a map, and the Martian tried to explain about climbing down a rope or up a rope. And the boy pretended that he was taking off like a jet or a rocket. And then together they thought of ways to fix them engine machines and how to get them both back home. The boy jumped to the earth, down to the earth, to get the things that they would need, right down into the sea, and swam towards home. But by the time he got there, the boy was tired. He was tired out. So he sat in his favourite chair just to catch his breath. His favourite programme was just starting, and he settled down to watch. Meanwhile, the Martian was thinking, "My goodness, he's been a long time." Suddenly, the boy remembered what he should be doing and rushed off to the cupboard to get what he needed. He ran outside and shouted, but there was no reply. He couldn't be heard. The boy climbed to higher ground, called again, and waited. This time a rope was lowered. The boy began to climb the rope, and the Martian began to pull, and soon the boy was back on the moon. The boy fixed up the Martian's engine with the right spanner, and the Martian filled the boy's petrol tank. They said goodbye and thanked each other for their help. They wondered if they'd ever meet again. After a long night, they were both finally off the moon. The boy went one way and the Martian went another, both on their way back home. Finally, the boy receives a package. In the package, there's a walkie-talkie. He put the walkie-talkie down on the floor. Then he could hear a voice. "Hello, hello." I wonder who that could be. The Way Back Home by Oliver Jeffers.